now's the time we have to have a look at Copilot and how it works and see some demonstrations. So we just saw how Copilot for Sales was actually envisioned. I'm going to go deeper into some of the experiences and show everything and how it works. I'm joined by Eric Boocock, who's on the team that built it. But why don't we start by digging into the mechanics of how everything works. So here you can see I've actually got a prompt, and this prompt has write a proposal for 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀 based on our last meeting. That means it's got to look up some information first in the Microsoft Graph. So that's the first piece that we need to connect together. There's calendar information, file sharing information. Then we have to make sure that we can get CRM information about the customer themselves. One of the coolest things is using skills. So I like to think of this like task sequence automation. So here we're going to actually pull up the proposal generation skill. And what that's going to do is actually run a sequence of prompts that's going to look for previous meeting, parse that meeting transcript, then get the matching customer information, and then assemble that prompt as a big prompt effectively and present that to the large language model so they can generate a response. Now that response here in this case is in the form of a proposal, as mentioned earlier. Then in post-processing, we actually scan that proposal just to make sure everything is what we want and make sure that everything is correct. After that, we can present that to the user. The important thing here is that any information that we use in any of these different steps, it's never retained, never used for large language model training. So hopefully, Eric, I did justice in terms of presenting this.
That was fabulous. You covered all the technical details. Great.
All right, so one of the big news items, and we just heard it today, was kind of these in-context experiences where it is one Copilot, truly. There's not different experiences. So can you explain what's new now?
Absolutely. Something we announced today was Copilot for Sales experience in Microsoft Word. Sellers spend a lot of time meeting with customers, as they were just talking about. Meeting prep takes up a lot of that valuable time. So Microsoft Copilot for Sales brings these additional sales skills into an experience such as Copilot in Word, such as, in this case, meeting prep. Let's take a look. So right within Word, the seller can ask to prepare a meeting, to do a meeting prep. And Copilot for Sales will bring that prompt directly to them to allow them to pick a record that they want to do the meeting prep for. In this case, we selected an opportunity. And what you'll see is we're leveraging the power of what Copilot in Word is going to do and help generate a really rich, nicely formatted document, but bring the data from that CRM system and bring all of those insights. Now the seller doesn't have to spend time going to look at the activities, review the opportunity, look at the account, and find all the customer information. It's just bringing this all to them. You'll see the customer service cases, the account summary, email summaries, and ultimately the opportunity summary. So now the seller is fully prepared to walk into this meeting knowing everything about this customer.
So it's clearly pulled in data from the Microsoft Graph and the CRM system to generate this proposal, and you've kind of got everything ready in terms of meeting prep in our case here. So what happens then after the meeting?
Well, meeting prep obviously takes up a lot of time. Post-meeting is almost even more of a burden, right? If you think of like all the people that were on the meeting and all the interactions that have happened, capturing that and following up effectively. Well, what we've done is we brought Copilot for Sales into the Teams experience, but we're really using the power of what Teams does. Teams does an amazing job transcribing the conversations and everything that happened in the meeting. But what we do is we augment it again with additional sales skills. Like you can see here, the identification of an activity that I want to save into my CRM system. So I don't have to flip back to my CRM. I can just simply save and put that into the system. We also look at the individual performance within that conversation, the talk-to-listen ratio, and surface unique things like keywords. And in this case, a brand mention. I might want to be interested in staying on top of what's being said about Fabricam, so I can see exactly where in the conversation that happened and review that talk track and understand exactly what we talked about to make sure I understand everything we hit in this meeting and deliver an effective presentation back to the customer and wrap up all those action items.
Right, so it's all about saving you time, giving you that one experience. Now, you don't need to change the way that you actually sell or the tools that you use to do sales in your documents or as you collaborate if you're using Copilot for Sales. And by the way, to get a much deeper dive on all this, including all your options for setup and configuration, I know these are things that you're going to want to check out Eric's recent show at aka.ms/Copilot for Sales Mechanics after Ignite, and the show continues right after this.